You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Broadcasting live worldwide. A place where legends are born.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
This is Macy Mullins of the Gate City Girls basketball team, and you're listening to Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
This is Kaylee Dunn of the Gate City Girls basketball team, and you're listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio. Go Big Blue!
This is Riley Housewright of the Gate City Girls basketball team, and you're listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Came about the mud, brush the dirt up off me. Going hard, hit him with it hurts, kill him softly. Bong stretch, trying to clear my mind, even smoke.
We are the Gate City Cheerleaders, and you're listening to the home of the Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Coming from my head though. Funny thing about it, they don't know it's in my head though. Schizo, maniac and finna go klepto. So hands on, kinda hard for me to let go.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Here is your host.
Good afternoon, good evening, all ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be and however you may be listening to us. I want to say thank you for making us a part of your Friday evening. You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio. I'm Joe Carter along with Chris Carr. We're broadcasting you live from Gate City's Middle School Gymnasium for Homecoming 2020 as our Blue Devil basketball teams host Abingdon in the biggest conference matchups of the season. Here on the James River Advisors pregame show, we're going to break down this Gate City-Abingdon matchup, and, of course, we'll announce the Big Blue Boosters starting lineups. We're going to have live coverage of each of the games, of course, and then join us for the Campus Drive-In halftime show and first-half recaps. Then, upon each game's conclusion, we'll have the post-game show, also sponsored by James River Advisors, and we'll name the Delegate Terry Kilgore Leadership Player of the Game Award, as well as the Law Office of Jesse Walker McNary Stat of the Night, and the Colonial Funeral Home Play of the Night. So, without any further ado, want to bring him in. The man, the myth, the legend. He is Chris the Hammer Carr. How are you, Christopher?
It's another wonderful night in the city of Gates. We've been treated to a couple of good games so far. That's why we're 35 minutes late so far. First game went to OT, and second one, boys came up 1 point short, but they've been pretty good games so far.
Great games again here as Abingdon and Gate City about to go at it. As far as the girls coming up, this is a little bit of a revenge game for Gate City. The controversial loss at Abingdon back on January the 7th. Again, that was a double overtime 71-70 decision. Of course, a lot of the controversy that surrounded the game there was with the overall scoring in terms that gave Gate City was ahead by 2 by every stat book except the official scores. They had it as a tie. And then, of course, it went into overtime, and the Lady Devils fell by 1. Looking at the standings, of course, as we get ready here, with 4 games left in the conference, it's must-win time for the Lady Devils if they're going to catch Abingdon. Abingdon at 17-1, 8-0 in conference play. Ridgeview sits at second. They're 6-2, 12-4, and then Gate City is third, 5-3 overall, and 9-8 in conference play. Again, if we can't catch Abingdon, the biggest thing is to be able to be that number 2 seed. Of course, with Abingdon being a 3A school, then that would give Gate City an automatic berth into the Region D playoffs. And again, that last ball game, of course, Sarah Thompson led the way in scoring. She had 23 in that ball game. Macy Mullins had 13. Of course, Kaylee Dunn had 7. Lexi Irvin had 7, and Riley Housewright also had 11 points in the ball game. And of course, for Abingdon, Peyton Carter led the way. Of course, she is a Tennessee Tech. She's already signed to continue her education and playing career there. And of course, she was followed by Sarah Walters, which had 17. Emily Breeding with 14. So, Chris, a lot of motivation for the Lady Devils here. Hopefully we're at full strength. What's your thoughts about this matchup here as we're getting ready for the ball game?
I was watching the girls warm up, and all of them are out of their shooting shirts in full, complete uniform. So that's a really good sign. Hopefully they'll be, like you said, at 100% strength.
Again, that ball game wasn't sort of an instant classic. Abingdon led by as many as 8 in that ball game. Gate City fought their way back, and, of course, they took the lead in the third quarter. Of course, at halftime was a big thing as well because we had the score as 35-32. Our book had it. Gate City's book had it. Even the Abingdon radio crew, I believe, had 35-32. But the official score had 35-30. So there was 2 points there, sort of a discrepancy. But anyway,
it's because I wasn't there.
Exactly. So we got to play. You got to play them. You got to take what happened. So again, Gate City here looking for a little bit of revenge as this is homecoming night. Of course, then we'll have the boys game coming up at the during halftime of the boys game. We'll, of course, have the homecoming court and introduction of the ladies that make up the court, as well as their escorts and ushers and everything like that. So good basketball night here again here on a Friday night. Of course, after tonight, the boys will be back in action tomorrow night. They go to Science Hill. And then, of course, then on Tuesday, we host Ridgeview. Again, the second-place Ridgeview team for the girls. And then next Friday night, we'll be on the road at Y Central. So a critical stretch, Chris, as, again, we're winding the season down in the conference standings. Again, after that, then they only play Lee. That's the last of the district games. So the girls have got to win out to have a hope of getting the first place. But, again, if they come in second, then they would be the number 1 seed in terms of the Region 2D.
I like being in the position where you can control what happens. You don't have to depend on other teams. You just got to go out and do what you do. And I've seen these girls enough this year when they're 100%. I really believe they're as good as anybody in the conference. I'll say it. I believe they're about as good as anybody in the state.
When they are on, they definitely do. And again, they had Abingdon on the ropes. Abingdon comes in here at 17-1, 8-0 in conference play. Again, they are led by Peyton Carter. Last ball game, again, her and Walters had a great 1-2 combination. Again, her dribble drive and then the penetration and the kick back out was pretty deadly. So it'll be interesting to see again what Gate City does to match up with that here. As we got about a minute and a half before the start of the game, of course, with the national anthem, we'll take that with them. Of course, then we'll have the Big Blue Boosters starting lineups here. So, of course, on the for the Gate City side, of course, the student section dressing in purple and gold in honoring Kobe Bryant, of course, who passed away last Sunday. So again, that's going on tonight as well. So exciting night of basketball action here. Looks like we're getting ready to probably have the national anthem here in just a minute. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll have the national anthem, and then on the flip side of that, we'll be back and ready for basketball action. The Big Blue Boosters starting laps are coming up, and we'll be ready to go. So, again, you are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Proudly representing Southwest Virginia in the House of Delegates for the last 24 years, Terry Kilgore continues to strive and work hard for others. Just like our Gate City Blue Devils proudly represents our school, our town, and community. Delegate Kilgore, a proud Gate City alumni himself, wants to thank the residents of the 1st District for their trust and support over the years as he's continued to voice our needs and concerns in Richmond to make our region a tremendous place to live and work. And on behalf of Delegate Kilgore and his family and staff, they say, go Big Blue.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
All right, so we are back in ready for action here. We have the Big Blue Booster starting lineups as we get ready here. Gate City and Abingdon. Again, Abingdon coming here 17-1, 8-0 in conference play. Gate City at 9-8, 5-3 in conference standings. So now they're introducing Abingdon. Start with number 20, Emily Breeding, 5'5" senior for Abingdon. Also joining her will be number 22, Peyton Carter, in the starting lineup. Also joining her will be Cassie Farley. She's a 6' senior for Abingdon. Also joining her will be Morgan Blevins, 5'11", junior, and also will be number 44, Sarah Walters for Abingdon. As the lights go down here, again, getting ready for the Big Blue Booster. Starting lineups for your Lady Devils. As crowd gets to a fever pitch. Again, big ball game for the Lady Devils. Sort of the measuring stick again, getting ready as we're coming up on the postseason. At one of the guards, number 5, back in the starting lineup will be Kendall Quillen.
It's a good thing to see.
Also joining her in the starting lineup will be number 21, Sam Gerald. Joining them will be number 23. She is Sarah Thompson. Also in the starting lineup will be number 24, Macy Mullins. And inside will be number 40. She is Riley Housewright. Again, the head coach of Gate City is Coach Kelly Housewright.
It's good to see the normal starting 5 all back in together. They gave Abingdon everything they wanted and then some the last week, or the last time they played, so hopefully we can keep that momentum rolling a little bit.
Again, that was a controversial 71-70 double overtime loss at Abingdon High School. Again, that took place back on January the 7th, so we'll see what happens here at home as Gate City dressed in their whites with blue lettering outlined in black. Abingdon in their navy blue with gray lettering outlined in white. And we are about ready for the jump ball. Again, that will be between Cassie Farley and Jordan Housewright. Ball is inbounded and quickly by Abingdon, knocked away, and it will be Abingdon basketball.
We need to keep an eye on these first couple of quarters. Statistics-wise, Abingdon's dominating this over Gate City, but Gate City's owning the 4th. So if Gate City can stop them up here, that's good, as there's a steal by Thompson. She takes it all the way in. Bucket's good. Gate City leads.
2-0. That quickly comes with 10 seconds into the ball game as Peyton Carter will have the basketball, brings it up for the Lady Falcons. Working the ball around as they try to get it inside to Morgan Blevins. Gate City again with their defensive stoppers back in the ball game. Quillen and Gerald really putting a lot of pressure on the guards as there's going to be a shot up and rebounded, and there's going to be a foul before the shot against Gate City as they got the ball into Sarah Walters. She went up with the shot, and they're going to get that one on. Number 24, that is going to be Miss Macy Mullins. First foul of the night comes at 7:27 left here in the first quarter. 2-0 Blue Devils as quickly inbounded goes up. It'll be Cassie Farley for Abingdon, and it's 2-2.
Thompson's got the ball already across the timeline. She feeds it back over to Quillen, the top of the key. They work it back around side to Macy Mullins. Mullins brings it back out to center court, passes over to Quillen on the right-hand side.
Kendall with the basketball, gets it back over to Macy. Macy's got it now. She's being guarded by Farley. She kicks it over to the corner to Quillen as she gets inside. She's going to pass it over to Housewright. She goes up, but she draws the foul on, looks like, Sarah Walters. That will be her first. Both teams now with one foul here. 6:56 left in the first quarter. Gate City going to the line, tied at 2.
That play was their moneymaker the other night, passing it around, then somehow everyone's forgetting about Housewright underneath. And if she doesn't make the bucket, she's been getting fouled, and she's been pretty deadly from the free throw line lately. As case in point, she just made the first shot, and made the second one.
Again, against Sullivan East the other night, she was 7-7 from the free throw line. She had 9 points, and of course, she is one of the Farm Bureau Players of the Week this last week. 6:50 left here in the first quarter. Gate City with an early 4-2.